distinguished delegates from DGFT, SEZ, School of International Business, I cordially welcome you to the awareness of export promotion and international business. I request our Dean and Director, Professor V.K. Kumar, GITAM School of International Business, to grace the dais. Theo to grace the dais. I request Dr. Trinath Kumar, IFS, Joint Development Commissioner, SEZ, to grace the dais. I request Shri Kshitij Jain, IRS, Assistant Commissioner of Customs, to grace the dais. I request Dr. P. Poonam Kumar, ITS, Assistant DGFT, to grace the dais. I request Shri N. Kameshwar Rao, Branch Manager, ECGC, Limited, Visakhapatnam, to grace the dais. He is not amidst us. I request Shri Sudhir Panchetti, Senior Branch Manager, Andhra Bank, Visakhapatnam, to grace the dais. May I request Dr. Sri Larita, GITAM School of International Business, to grace the dais.
President, Federation of India, Export Association, Dr. Trinath Kumar, Joint Development Commissioner, Special Economic Zone, Visakhapatnam, Mr. K. Jain, Assistant Commissioner of Customs, Visakhapatnam, Dr. T. Poonam Kumar, Assistant DGFT, Visakhapatnam, Mr. Sudhir, Senior Branch Manager, Andhra Bank, faculty and students. On my own behalf and on behalf of GITAM School of International Business, I welcome all of you to this half-day workshop on export procedures and policies. As a matter of fact, I must thank the DGFT who have kindly agreed to be with us to organize this workshop. And I also thank Dr. Poonam Kumar, Assistant DGFT, who has taken all the initiatives to make this workshop happen today. Well, Dr. Sri Larita, she deserves rich kudos. She has taken all the necessary steps to coordinate with Dr. Poonam Kumar to organize this workshop, and I congratulate her for all the efforts that she has made. As a matter of fact, this workshop is timely and relevant. It is timely and relevant because we have a problem in the bifurcated Andhra Pradesh when it comes to exports. A few minutes ago, I was just sharing my views with the distinguished people on the dais that with bifurcation, we have lost Hyderabad and we have lost a lot of exports from Hyderabad and revenue from those exports. For instance, much of combined Andhra Pradesh exports were in software and pharmaceutical products and of course early in other products. With Hyderabad gone to Telangana, we have lost all those exports. So there is a need for the sunrise state of Andhra Pradesh to boost exports to increase its TCP. To stimulate its own growth. At the same time, there are a lot of problems. One of the problems is, how to bring about inclusive growth in the sunrise state of Andhra Pradesh for corruption. Well, these are some of the things I would just like to share with you, just to open the session. We are already late, and therefore I close my, discussion with you on this subject. I once again welcome all the distinguished people to share their views on export procedures and policies. Thank you.
For addressing the audience.
Good afternoon. Dean and Director Professor V.K. Kumar, esteemed dignitaries on the dais, pillars of future India, students of this great institution. A teacher was taking a class for the tiny tots, and she was trying to explain the meaning of two words which are more or less similar meaning. The words she chose were discovery and invention. The teacher said, by discovery I mean finding out something that is already in existence. And by invention, I mean finding out something which does not exist at all. To illustrate a point, she said, Christopher Columbus discovered America. And she pointed out at the lights above and she said, Thomas Alva Edison invented electricity. The question next was to construct or frame a sentence by using both these words, discovery and invention. There was silence until a mischievous boy from the back benches put up his hands and said, Ma'am, my daddy discovered my mummy and invented me. With the humor that it accompanies, I have a point to make. When it comes to being an entrepreneur versus going in for services, it would mean doing some invention in the sense that you are not adding numbers to the already millions, teeming millions who are seeking an employment in some part of India or other places, but you are generating, you are inventing more job opportunities. And export is one area where you can create multiple job opportunities. Indian export story, which I would like to highlight to you now, has come a long way. In the immediate post-Indian scenario, proposed independent Indian scenario, the major call given to all across board was to export or perish, for the simple reason the writing was on the wall. If we were not to export, if we were not to build in our foreign exchange reserves, we would have perished. Our economy would have collapsed. And we worked from a nation which at that point of time was importing even a needle and thread. We are now exporters of the highly sophisticated engineering goods as well. And for that to happen, there had to be facilitation, and we have had facilitation the funds, the assistant director here. So there are people, and there are quite a few infrastructural needs that were met. But having said that, we came up a long way. Then came up the foreign trade policy, the recent foreign trade policy, a copy of it is given here also. And unveiling the foreign trade policy, the full-fledged foreign trade policy which came up in the year 2009, the then Commerce Minister Kamal Nath said that India had kept before itself two challenges. One, by the turn of the policy, we wanted our merchandise exports, I'm talking about merchandise exports, to be taken from $250 billion to $500 billion. The second, in the global basket of trade, India was dreaming of doubling its share. We were at 0.78%, we wanted to grow to 2%. Now what happened was, over the years, there has been a CAGR as high as about 20%, and we grew from 251.14 billion in the year 2010-11 to $304.62 billion in the year 11-12, which was a quantum jump, and we had registered an exponential growth in our exports. And the growth trajectory would have continued, and it did continue. It hovered around $301 billion in 2012-13 to 2014.4, and last year, 2014-15 to $310.5 billion. Why I'm saying is that we probably would have ended up in excess of $400 billion, but if not for the global meltdown, starting with the Standard & Poor degrading the American economy for the first time, followed by the meltdown of the Eurozone, two of our major global partners in trade on whom we depended heavily, and there has not been shift to newer markets. So in our interactions with the ministry, we got incentives for new markets, and there have been quite a few facilities in place. Now, what happened was, we cannot say that in India the cost of several things is more, therefore you have to pay more for your merchandise. That does not work. So what is important is that our level playing field is 6 to 8%, whereas Indian exporters and Indian borrowers have been paying in excess of 10% for a long time. That served as a disadvantage. To subvent it, government was giving for export credit as inter-subvention of 2 to 3%, which galvanized our competitiveness to a certain extent. Now, having said that, the exports this particular financial year have come down. As of December 2015, the first 9 months of this financial year, we have degrown by about 18%. Our exports stand at $196 billion as against $240 billion for the same period last year. The government is seized of the situation. We have been having interactions with our ministries, and certain incentives have come in place, but they have come in a little late. Therefore, we will have some problems. Over a period of time, we should be able to overcome, and we probably will be on a growth path once again. So therefore, these are the things which are very, very important. As students now, and this is an institution which has the skills that are required to be competitive in the global world, and with a view to doing that, first thing I would expect of you as students is to acquaint yourself with the nuances of the export trade, and you could not have had a better opportunity than this. The second most important thing is that in the service sector, we have achieved such a lot. Indian brains have worked with out-of-the-box ideas. We need a paradigm shift in that particular direction. Your education equips you with the foundation, but the structure will have to be built with your own ideas, and that can happen when a few of you outside your class sit together, brainstorm, discuss, deliberate, and see and think about something that is impossible to be thought of. I just would like to ask you, quite a few Indians have made a mark in providing service to the world, and there have been huge successes. One thing I would like to ask you, you all watch cricket matches, that's right? The last cricket match, there was a sponsor called Paytm. How many of you know about Paytm? Yeah, can I have the answer, please? You get up, you could tell me. What is Paytm?
Online sites.
Sorry?
Online website.
For? Online web. What does Paytm stand for?
Online recharge and all this.
Anyway, you raised, somebody else raised it. So many hands went up. I'm extremely happy, many hands went up. Who knows what is Paytm? What does Paytm mean? Yeah, please. The best thing to do is to try and, express whatever you know so that you come to know. Pay anytime, no? You raise your hand, right? Means pay through mobile. TM stands for through mobile. They made a huge success. Okay, what are they? You kindly could you please tell me?
Cab, brand of cab, if you book it online, then they will reach you to your destinations without any refusal.
Okay. So there are other services, Uber, Ola and all. These are the, what I want you to do is find out as to how they made these things possible. I won't take more time. I'm going to make another 5 minutes because this thing said interactive session. I've started interacting with young minds. To go from New York JFK airport to Manhattan, I have paid $116 15 years ago. Today with the Uber concept, nothing has come down, everything has gone up. I ended up paying $67 the other day, and within no time I could get a vehicle at my disposal. In your own city probably today, if you want an Ola or an Uber, where you would pay for a regular taxi, maybe 250 or 300 rupees, you end up paying maybe less than 100 rupees. This is a reality. How can it happen? When the costs have gone up, it's a question of they are going by a system where at your call, there is somebody waiting. In the Western world, it was amazing. I used it in US, I used it in Canada, I used it in, once having used it, I got addicted to it. And I wanted to interact with all the drivers. Until then, I did not know. He tells me that whenever he is free, he puts on his app and he goes. Maybe he's working for 5 days, 6th day, on Saturday, if he wants to rest, he does not. And there are thousands of them from different nations. I came across I went to the US twice in June and August. Value will not go up. I don't have much to say. Professor highlighted quite a few disadvantages that we are into. Yes, when it comes to doing business across, ease of doing business across borders, we are quite low. That's mainly because our country has not focused on infrastructure development much. The new government came up with a slogan that less of government, more of governance. They have a lot of ideas, points, and they are doing millions of TUs, that is 20-foot unit containers, than India as a destination would do. And I was trying to, in my own way, brainstorm with my friends and find out what happens. The experiment of Singapore, experiment of Dubai, and other hubs like Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Brussels now, and a host of other countries. The difference was the governments there made sure that they invested on infrastructure and did not do anything else. Through the infrastructure, whatever they were getting, they used to plow down on infrastructure. What we in India, what we did, just the reverse. We neglected infrastructure. To a certain extent, infrastructure is being given attention to. And when we have good infrastructure, we can't dream of the infrastructure that advanced countries have. We may not have, but at least we must have reasonably good infrastructure. It is coming. Now, one point I would like to highlight is this. Now, with all these bottlenecks, how did we make a success out of our export business? There are quite a few areas, where the export business is galvanized against many risks. There are a few inherent risks as well. One of the areas is that in the international markets, you are able to take positions. In other words, if you have a merchandise to be offered in the international market and the unit value is $1,000 US, we have contracts for end of 2016 and 2017 as well, and we know what our profits are going to be like. And accordingly, you can hedge. There are quite a few things you come across, and it is hassle-free. Banks, we have a banker here, welcome export to finance because they also need credits for their own export financing, and in a way they have got their conditions put. with all these things, when we see that there are so many bottlenecks, problems and all, how to do it? One thing comes to my mind. There are people can be categorized as those who find a problem even in an opportunity, and the ones who find an opportunity even in a problem. I'm sure, brilliant students that you are, under this prestigious institution, you will find opportunities even in problems. And I can assure you, as a successful exporter for the last 3 decades, that you will be able to weather the storms, and together we will be able to make the Indian tricolor fly proudly aloft in the Committee of Nations. I wish you all the best. I'm open to questions.
Thank you, sir, for bringing out the importance of exports and especially bringing out the importance to students to learn about the nuances of